Today we are going to discuss about interesting observership which was done under us by Ananya Bajpayee, who was here for the last. She did 5 clinics with us over the last 2 weeks, and she has seen a number of cases and has also been involved in research project. It is part of our observership for learning and how we as doctors deal with patients, how what are the issues that patients face. So Ananya is going to talk about all that.
Morning everyone, I am an 11th grader at BHIS Kanpur. Thank you everyone for providing me this opportunity of working under the endocrinology team at this Regency CDR, because it was an amazing experience and it would not have been possible by just flipping through the pages of a textbook or learning through the internet, because it was a very practical experience. The total observation experience, I observed under 179 patients and also assisted in a research project to validate the need and applicability of DiaBuddy, which is an app to help manage diabetes. In the experience, I maintained a patient log for each patient. I asked for the name, their age, their sex, complaint, recommendation, and also provided a personal remark. Amongst the 179 patients, half had diabetes, out of which 26% had type 1 diabetes and 24% had type 2 diabetes. Hypothyroidism and obesity contributed to the half of the second half, and other conditions like precocious puberty, delayed puberty, Graves' disease, and growth failure were also a bit prevalent. I will be discussing about the other problems that interested me, starting with the Turner syndrome, which is a chromosomal disorder in which one X chromosome is either altered or missing, which leads to reduced ovarian function. A patient who was a 20-year-old female presented to us with short stature. She was on treatment with hormonal replacement, but her family had the main issue about her long-term fertility issues. The doctor had to clearly counsel the patient and her family about the need of IVF and the related social issues that may come up regarding her marriage in the future. She was also told about how pregnancy can be a high-risk condition if she will have cardiac complications. This case was a bit interesting because I realized how conditions like Turner syndrome does not only affect the patient but the entire family that care for them. Then was congenital hyperinsulinism, which is a genetic disorder in which pancreatic beta cells are mutated, which is known as ABCC8 mutation. This leads to excessive insulin production, causing persistent hypoglycemia. The patient was a 2-month-old female that presented with seizures and hypoglycemia, and so was being treated with diazoxide, which resulted in hair overgrowth. Even though fortunately she was sleeping well, was responsive, this was an unfortunate case showing how an auspicious occasion like bringing a new member to the family can be serious damages to a certain family. Then was transient precocious puberty. Precocious puberty is basically when there is an onset of puberty at an unusually early age. For example, it is before the age of 8 for girls. This can either be due to two causes. Firstly, the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis can be activated earlier than it usually happens, or due to external conditions that will affect the ovary or the adrenal gland. The patient was a 6-year-old female who presented with vaginal bleeding and breast development, but only during 1 month. When she was examined, rapid progression was seen, causing overproduction of estrogen, so it was concluded as peripheral precocious puberty. The diagnosis was that an ovarian cyst had been formed, which did go away after 1 month but was causing secretion of estrogen. This was a rare case of precocious puberty. Then was Sheehan syndrome, which is also known as postpartum pituitary necrosis, in which severe blood loss that occurs during childbirth can damage the mother's pituitary gland, which leads to a deficiency of pituitary hormones. The patient, who was a 41-year-old female, showed weakness, a failure to lactate, and some features of hypothyroidism. Now is being treated with hormonal replacement therapy and medicines to help maintain her bone strength. Because there is a deficiency of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, in this condition, the body can go into shock during physical stresses. Therefore, an increased dose was necessary for the patient. If it was not diagnosed, it could go to a very serious state. was monogenic diabetes, which is basically diabetes without the need of injecting insulin from outside. Since it is an autosomal dominant disorder that develops during or after puberty, in which the glucose levels are only slightly higher than normal because of the result of the enzyme glucokinase deficiency. The 16-year-old female presented with mild hyperglycemia and also showed that her family on the mother's side all had this disease. There is no treatment as such for this, but she was recommended to prevent diabetes because she is at a higher risk of getting it in the future. During pregnancy, if the fetus of a patient with monogenic diabetes inherits same mutation, higher maternal glycemia will be needed. However, if the fetus does not have that mutation, growth of the fetus will be accelerated due to excess insulin production. Therefore, the mother will have to be treated with insulin. Lastly was the ENaC defect, which caused THA1 in an 8-year-old female. The epithelium channel, which basically regulates the sodium absorption in the kidneys, is defected in this, which can lead to a condition known as PHA1, presenting with symptoms like hypotension and salt wasting. Genetic testing of this patient showed mutations in the genes that encode these ENaC subunits. The patient showed hyperkalemia due to reduced sodium and potassium exchange in the kidneys. In order to compensate for the excessive sodium loss in urine and sweat of the patient, the doctor recommended the family to increase salt content in her foods and allow her to drink lots of water. It was also counseled to the family that she may be asking for salts on her own. That is why it is very necessary to provide it to her. There were also some other cases that I found interesting. For example, a 4-year-old female was diagnosed with early Graves' disease. Clinically, she had a soft goiter and also bulging eyes. It was interesting because she was the youngest Graves' patient. And a 35-year-old male had pancreatic diabetes because of excessive alcohol consumption, which led to chronic inflammation, destroying his beta cells. And a 22-year-old male had 2-time testicular torsion. So he was put on hormonal replacement therapy. He was concerned about his low muscle and bone strength and had long-term fertility issues also. Additionally, I assisted in a research project in which 38 type 1 diabetics and their guardians were firstly taught about long-acting versus rapid-acting insulin, how to adjust their dose on the basis of the foods they eat, what is the importance of regularly checking their blood glucose levels, and the diabetic ketoacidosis symptoms and how to respond to it when it occurs. They were then asked to fill out the scenario questions and a quality of life questionnaire. Then each patient's socio-economic class was determined on a scale of 1 to 5 using their family head's profession, highest level of education and also monthly income. Then the respective quality of life scores, answers to the scenarios and their socio-economic class will be used to determine the average levels of all the patient's knowledge. Their HbA1c values and status of health in the past year will be used to further validate the quality of life score. The data that will be obtained will be used to highlight the applicability and need of an accessible app for diabetics. Finally, I also learned a lot about the patient-doctor communication. Firstly, the physician must be understanding and empathetic of the patient's feelings, thoughts, and emotions. Each conversation should be filled with respect and should be ethical. Physicians should be patient with the patient. They should be adaptable because each patient comes from a different culture, class, background. Calm and composed, listening to all the problems that the patient is facing carefully, and collaborative so the patient feels heard. Thank you everyone for providing me with this opportunity and also listening to me attentively. Thanks.
So thank you, Ananya, for providing with this discussion. We hope you continue to have the interest in these areas and work on that.